just give a brief overview on this one, and then 7 chapter. And Zhuangzi is a lot of right. He has this book, Zhuangzi, as a person. Okay, he lived about on this time about the fourth or third century BCE. Okay, so people call him Zhuangzhou or Zhuangzi. But here, when I say Zhuangzi, I mean the inner chapter, the book. The book has 33 chapters, and it's called the inner chapter from 1 to 7. Outer chapter usually considered as his student, his disciples writing. And the miscellaneous chapters, they have another 10 chapters, which must be the people much later, probably on the first century, on the about Han Dynasty. Some people start to write something. So usually, we consider from 1 to 7 as Zhuangzi, this person's philosophy. And you can see it's a very comprehensive philosophy. Okay, from 1 to 7, I think we will, next time we will go through kind of summary for this 7 chapter. So today we will go to the chapter 7, which the translator Feng You Lan Feng You Lan, okay, is the translator, and he lived on the early 20th century. Okay, so he was educated in, I think, in Columbia University and studied from Jiangdui. And when he ended with a strong Chinese literature language background, and so he made a good translation. Today we are reading his translation. So that's the book. So through the history, I make a list of the 7 chapters, and we have to go through from 1 to, today we're going to 7. And if you take a look, all this name, okay, so that's my summary. I think you will see this 7 chapter probably represent a very comprehensive philosophy. Okay. So chapter 1 talk about happy excursion. Basically, he's talking about freedom. He tried to tell us everyone can be free, okay, physically or mentally. Chapter 2 as on equality of things. Basically is his metaphysic argument, talking about everything is equal. Language, talking about the truth, what's false, what's real, what's illusion, what's being, what's non-being. That's his argument. This one is very long and very difficult to read. Chapter 3, he started to talk about how do we live as individuals, talk about self, how to take care of yourself. Chapter 4, he started to talk about this society, the human world, because you don't live alone, how to deal with other people. Chapter 5, talk about his virtue. As a philosopher, he need to talk about the virtue. What does he mean? Perfect or innate character, and what does he mean? Virtue. Number 6, he talking about kind of more like a religion, the topic of religion, a little bit mysticism, talk about death, talk about immortality. Okay, he doesn't talk about soul, because Chinese concept doesn't have the Western concept of soul, but he talk about immortality, talk about death. So chapter 6, we introduced probably 2 months ago. It's a lot of religious flavor. And some people will find out it's difficult to read, difficult to understand. Even myself, I also find out a little bit difficult. So today we talk about chapter 7, which is complete. The last one, which is talk about politics, which all Chinese philosophy during that time, the purpose is politics, how to resolve this problem, the society problem. So just like all other philosophies, like Confucius or Lao Tzu, during the time, they all talk about politics. So today we are going to talk about is the politics. So if you look at this 7, you will see the basic is a complete, a comprehensive philosophy. It touches every area of philosophy, even we based on the Western philosophy point of view. It's very comprehensive. So I will put a short stop here, and if you have any question, comment, and before I really go to the chapter 7. Before we start, if you have any question or any comment you want to make. Okay, I think I will post the data. If you go to the meetup page, I usually post the PDF file as my PowerPoint file. And I feel very proud of I make each chapter, I make an outline on this one, on each chapter, chapter 2. Okay, try to organize on each one. And you don't have to write down, but if you are interested, you can go to our meetup page. Each chapter I provide outline. And I believe nobody doing this. I probably, at least I create this outlines. Okay, and then I think this outline at least help me understand the philosophy much better. And I don't see any book in Chinese or English have this kind of outline. Usually they just put a long story on each chapter, and it's very difficult to read. And with my breakdown with outlines, I think everything becomes easy. So if anyone have read anything about each chapter have outline, please let me know. I would like to see how other people, other scholar or reader break down on each chapter. So that's I feel I'm very proud to create this one. So today, before we go to chapter 7, I would like to break down this chapter 7 in 7 different so-called paragraph or 7 different stories. Basics, they from 1 to 4. It's 4 very short story. Okay, only 1 page. Okay, very short story. And number 5 is a little bit long story. Okay, and this long story talking about a person called Liezi. This person show up in chapter 1. And the Liezi has been considered as a Taoist immortals. So this one is also talking about fortune telling, basically talk about physiognomy. Okay, so it's a little bit strange, but it's an interesting story, a little bit long. Then number 6, it's a motto or so-called maxim about Wu Wei. Okay. If you're familiar with Dao De Jing, another Taoist writing, the key concept is Wu Wei. And if you remember or you go through from chapter 1 to chapter 6 in Zhuangzi, you probably don't see much about Wu Wei, because Wu Wei is more politics than personal idea. So since this one is politics, so number 6 basics is kind of like summarize what Lao Tzu or Dao De Jing teach about Wu Wei, and also summarize the overall view of Zhuangzi's political concept. So surprisingly, to the end, Zhuangzi writes another short story, okay, so-called the death of the primitivities. Some people, including me, feel a little bit strange. Okay, use this one as ending, but some or probably most scholar people will consider this one is a great ending. And I discussed this one with Pin, and he liked this one. And I think this one is a little bit strange to me. Okay. But I will present as what Zhuangzi is writing, and then you can tell me whether or not this short story fit to this essay or not. So I will stop here, and if you have any question before I go through.